Hi, good afternoon to everybody in Sierra Leone, West Africa, and the whole continent. My name is Tiny Mungwe. I'm a producer at Steps, a media company in South Africa. And it is my extreme pleasure to welcome you to this session in which we're going to be discovering stories of young people in Sierra Leone and discussing various that emanate from the two films from Sierra Leone, Sisterhood and New. These two films are part of Generation Africa, which is a Pan-African project of documentary film initiated by Steps. Generation Africa aimed to shift the narrative in various ways. Firstly, by supporting African filmmakers to tell the African story. We found through our platform, Afri Docs, which I will tell you about a little bit later, that most stories around migration that were existing in the mainstream media were not told from inside the continent. We also were at a point where we saw that the African continent has a population of, has a general population of 60, 70% young people, yet young people's voices are not heard. So in Generation, we were able to come together, create opportunities for African filmmakers to tell their story, a specific theme of migration, but very different stories as we see in this discussion. But also to find a way to tell those stories about people and make sure that it's a conversation between filmmakers and community and audience of African youth about what the future of Africa could look like. So you can find out more about Generation Africa, the project, on our web, generationafrica.co.za. But we're also having this discussion because it is to occasion of the launch of the two films, Sisterhood and New Boats, on an African documentary platform that you can watch anytime and complete for free, called afridocs.net. So two films are being launched on this platform that as many young people in Sierra Leone and Western Africa can discuss the issues around films. So yeah, you can check out the film and other films in the Africa collection over the next 3 months on afridocs.net. AFRI So it's available in GeoBlog for Africa. So the two films that we'll be discussing today are going to be moderated by another dynamic and admirable young person from the continent, Sierra Leone, Sarah Kallay. Sarah is a strategic communications coordinator in the Office of the President in the Republic of Sierra Leone. She's also an entrepreneur with her own company. She's employing other Sierra youths. She's an editor for several high-profile and 3 magazines in Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. And most importantly, she's a mother. Sarah used to be a journalist, in her own. She used to have 2 shows called People and Politics and TikTok. Before she left the media landscape, she was the youngest head in Sierra Leone in the station Star Radio. She also worked for non-governmental organizations as women's rights and equal opportunities advocates, and but she doesn't claim the term of activist or feminist. She's received certificates of recognized organizations like the United Nations Women, Equality Now, BBC Media Action, and BBC. And in her spare time, she teaches computing skills to kids as well as literature and history. And she volunteers with nonprofits for women and girls. Find out more about Sarah Kallay on her website, .com. And maybe also connect with some of the other work that she does. She will be in conversation with 2 filmmakers whose films are from Sierra Leone in the Generation Africa collection, and being MJ Sarah, who is the director of Sisterhood, whom she will introduce. Ceci's film Sisterhood is set here at the largest documentary film festival in the world, IDFA, in Amsterdam, this or next week, which is quite an amazing way for him to represent Sierra Leone on that platform. And she will later on be in conversation also with the director for the New Boats. New Boats is being broadcast on Arte, the TV channel, on the ZDL, and it's a very important and key climate justice film, which is starting open conversations around climate justice and environmental justice in Sierra Leone. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Kallay, who will introduce both Ceci and later on my boy, Olansana Mansari. Thank you. Sarah.
Tombo na the hub of the fishing, we na the largest fishing community in Sierra Leone.
Well, before this time, the boat that we've been there, na be indigenous, then boot them or Sierra Leonean indigenous them. But unfortunately, investors that we've been coming in the name of coming to invest in the fishing sector. So economically, people, instead of them growing, then they retrogress every blessed day. When fishermen go get a complaint, then come, they tell them, say, these are the complaints we get. Those complaints, they don't ever take them serious. So I make us as an organization take up upon ourselves for speaking. Now let me get a community surveillance booth. Now they pack, all they as net castle, right there they come out. Then go ramsack the sea, all nets.
Kalamaki, me tata me born fisherman. Kalamaki do kaska me komi day from yimi bitstone into chimpagi, but because to 8 years, they may survive. And I didn't sing out. I can sing as see all fisherman is glad for the go for oak. Couple of people on the day. I have to talk. I don't use it. They come back. I don't use to.
I don't know. Your man never tell me if I make come first or I make come second. So I now, you need to take the big or it's me to take the small. But people they always tell we see I'm mature passer. What in all in they think about, what in my sister in they think about in your life is all about traveling. The first time for travel na Kuwait, 2014. Travel go back. It come back, it travel go back for like 4 months, it come back. You know, as the full one, we born on the street, you know to better picking again for them. So now you know take the picking in my hand and try for help me, it's okay. You should see people and go for chocolate and talk. This is my young I'm picking. When I get the belly, like ashamed and me like my family they don't know me for that kind life there, so how I for call and tell them say that this will happen to me. So I know what I call. They really they wonder me sometimes a lot, especially about me picking. And all them picking tell me say I want this. I don't get some for here. So now that's not the reason why make I say make I go. Sometimes within other people in the experience, so but they will not go for the experience and things in there. So meditation, the final, we they go together, inshallah. Why you don't alone?
Awalla una get man, la una married, la una like myself sit down there first. Before ever una they go any side. Remember no more the way this way and they call me, they cry, they suffer, they this, they that, ashamed. Then they take it, come on me heart. Then take it, they make because if other person don't do it, if no fit like you don't do it.
What na they do, na go na support, and bless me, and we go before. I don't say the outside work is not easy, but we not get option now.
Hello, so guys, those were two movie trailers. One is Sisterhood, the other is The New Boat. And those trailers about Sierra Leonean happenings. Those trailers are Sierra Leonean stories told by Sierra Leoneans and for Sierra Leoneans. Basically, other people, other filmmakers came to Sierra Leone and did those stories, but those filmmakers are Africans, just like us. I'd like to say welcome to them right now. The one is James Sese. Am I pronouncing that right? Okay, and the other is Bami. And I know I watched those two movies and I actually felt proud. I felt touched that those kind of movies, our own stories are now being showcased by us. Well, let's start with the director. Why those particular narratives? Well, why the initiative to even do a film, Africans doing African movies?
Come again, sir. I didn't get you.
Okay, so let's start with the film director. I would like to know why the decision to do African movies by Africans. Why did you decide to do the film?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, we are the best people to tell our story. Because when you're telling the story, you not fabricate. You before even make the decision to do the film, you have already been seeing the reality of what you are implementing to show the world. So I decided to do the film because I thought it wise that I am the best person to tell my own story in Africa, in Sierra Leone, as a Sierra Leonean. So I would be in the position to tell the right thing. Though I might not be, of course, I'm not a Fula, a Fula family, but I already know the dynamics. I already know the custom and convention that Fula people are practicing. These sensitive Islamic people. I am the right person to do the story because I know before now how to respect their tradition and how what are their do's and don'ts. So I decided to do the story because I think and believe that I am the right person to do the story because I'm a Sierra Leonean and I can tell Sierra Leonean story without telling any lies.
Okay, so Bami, Generation Africa, have you been doing this kind of things in other countries as well?
you, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Bami, your voice is a little bit low. Can you speak up?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, but it's a little bit. It's a little bit low. Sassy, can you get him?
No, I can't hear him. I can just hear him faintly. Can you increase the volume?
Okay. So, Bami, can you try to increase your volume, please? And whilst you're trying to do that, Sassy, can you take us through a summary of Sisterhood, the thing?
Well, yeah. Story behind Sisterhood, it's really huge because first of all, the mother was the target. The mother was the target. The mother had to accept tutoring. It was not an easy task, but like I saw it as a challenge, and I like the way Generation Africa also pushed us, or to be specifically me, pushed me to go beyond my limits. Because when Generation Africa said my story, say, okay, we need to tell this story. First of all, we will start by sending you on a research. Go and do a research, ensure that you have access to the characters. I had access to the two twins because the one without hijab happens to be my friend. I am also a fiction director, so she was part of the production group that I met her, and then that's where I got to know about her sister, who has been to Kuwait, got pregnant there, ran back home, and she was taken to Western Rural care. That's where I not to know that her sister has come home with pregnancy out of wedlock. No father that is responsible for the pregnancy. So after that, when she came back, she had to give the child for adoption and travel back using another name because she was running away from stigma. The parents did not accept the child, especially the mother. Mother was going around crying that she has got shame on her, and the father knew nothing. They kept the father in the dark at that time. So later she ran out of luck, and then she was sent back. She was deported back to Sierra Leone. She had to travel again for the third time to Kuwait. She ran out of luck again, deported her. And then her sister now said, okay, you know what? Let me just send my passport for she got the visa, and she did not get the visa. So the one without the visa, okay, use my passport. You go. When you succeed, me too, I'll take another passport and meet you. She used Arsenal's passport, traveled from Sierra Leone to Kurdistan to Baghdad. Baghdad, she got a job to go work in Belarus. Belarus airport, that's where they caught her and found out that that's not her passport. It's her twin sister's passport. They sent her to prison for weeks. After some weeks, they contacted the Sierra Leone embassy in Russia. They had to send an ETC for her. They escorted her back to Sierra Leone. She was deported. She came and said, I continue filming with her. And then she told me she cannot stay in Sierra Leone. One has to do with stigma. Another one, she has to care her father's name. Another one, she has to care for her daughter. She has to provide for her daughter to know that she is the mother. So she needs to go. So they struggled together now. They started meeting with different smugglers that are in this business that help them to get visa. So I filmed the smugglers without showing their faces, because that's the agreement. I must not show their faces. What is important, I was showing my characters' faces and then getting the voice of the smuggler as they negotiate for visa transaction. So we went through all that. It wasn't easy. Like I said, even those smugglers, to convince them that I'm not going to show you your face, I'm not going to sabotage what you're doing. It will take you a week convincing them. You have to go to them and tell them, young man, you're a young man like me. I'm doing my job. You're doing your job. I'm not here to smear what you're doing. The main focus here is this lady. I just want to film her negotiating with you. I'm not going to show you. Even to the extent sign an agreement. If anywhere in the world you see your face in this movie, you can sue me. No problem. I don't have a problem with that. So we went through this smuggler, the first one, the second one, the third one. We went through it all the way from 2019 to 2020, 2021. We finished the movie in 2022. It was not an easy task. Well, the first workshop started in 2018 in Accra. It was not an easy one. And for the first time, for me to direct a full-length documentary, thanks to Generation Africa. But the struggle is not easy, Sarah.
Okay, so I watched the movie and I was really touched by the movie myself. I was surprised that we had some of these kinds of movies out there that explain what young people were going through from our own perspective. But all through the movies, there were certain things that were very clear for us to see. And we'll be talking about them very shortly. But I just want to know if Bami can get me now. Bami, are you open now?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Oh, good. You can get me very clearly.
Finally.
To hold you up and go back to Bami. So, Bami, tell us a little bit about Generation Africa.
Well, my involvement with Generation Africa has been with my film called The New Boats. The New Boat is kind of an interweaving story that looks at the lives of local fishermen, especially artisanal fishermen, and the largest artisanal fishing port in Sierra Leone, which is Tombo, with over 600 boats. So basically, I've been following, kind of riveting the social issues as a result of the scarcity of fish, due to bad method and illegal fishing that is affecting these communities. So my involvement with Generation Africa has been, they've been my supporter, and they've been supporting, they supported the production of this film, likewise Ceci and Ceci's film. And yes, they've been on the back of the film since day one, I would say.
Ceci, are you clear? Can you get me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ceci, for those people who have not watched the movie or did not understand by watching the trailer, let me just give a quick summary of the movie and then take us through the things. So the movie Sisterhood is about two sisters, Usainatu and Usanatu. Is that correct? Is the name correct? Okay, so these two sisters are twins and they struggled a lot in life. And both of them are from the Fula tribe in Cameroon, and they, according to tradition, they should not have a child out of wedlock. And according to tradition, they should get married and all of that. But these people, one of them did not actually get married and have a kid. And it was difficult for them because one of them always wanted to travel out of Syria. At the end of the day, she got opportunity to travel, got back, got opportunity to travel again. And then it was always one difficulty after the other. She was being deported like maybe twice or three times. And then 3 times. Okay, and then one of them, finally, at the end of the movie, it showed that one of them actually left, and they called the mom to explain that we are on our way and all that. So one of the things that was very clear for me was the theme of poverty and seeking greener pastures. What did it feel like for you when you were doing that particular theme and you kept seeing and you live this life yourself?
Well, the role was as a filmmaker. You I can set an example now. I can throw it like to you as Sarah as a journalist, which all of us are part of the society of journalism. They say when you're telling a story, ensure that you're not part of the story. When you're reading your news, ensure that you don't read the news with emotion, because if you read the news with emotion, you will spoil the message. Because at the end of the day, there are certain points of the news you will reach, you will burst into tears. So you don't want to do that. If you even look at I went to their house in the morning. So I grabbed the camera myself. I said I'm going to interview Sanatu. I went there. Unexpectedly, Sanatu that hip hop attack. I was shocked. That was the first time to that stage, and I cannot touch her, but only allow her sister to care for her. I stayed with the camera, filming everything that was going on. Yes, I tried my level best to be myself. Seeing her struggling, I filmed, and sister assured me that let me just continue with my filming. She's going to take care of her. I before even telling the story. First of all, I didn't go with Sisterhood to the workshop, Generation Africa. I went with another story. So they looked at the story. They said that story is too elaborate. If I can develop another story through the workshop, then I stand a chance. I looked at myself and said, yeah, I'm here to represent Sierra Leone. Though we are there, two of us, I said, but I'm going to give another story. I thought of the twin story. Right there, I picked up my phone, I called her. I said, I want to tell your sister's story on this competition that I came on. Then she passed the phone over to Usanatu. Usanatu talked with me and gave me a condition. I will give you my story to tell my story, provided if you will never stop me not to go. I mute on the phone for a while on the other side of the phone. I said, so that's your condition? She said, yes. She says, you must never advise me not to go, because I will continue going till I succeed. And do not go tell people to come and talk to me not to go. I will stop. You will never film me again. I said, okay, it's a deal. That was the condition I maintained. I did not interfere. I let them be. They went through all their arrangement, challenged their mother, convinced her that that was the right decision they are making. And of course, the father has always been on their side. The father has always been there. But the mother said she wants them to get married. Because you and I know in this country, full of people, when once they've seen your breast already full on your chest, they want to give you to marriage. Azanat was using schooling and this seamstress work to convince them that when she's ready, she will bring a man and she will tell them that she's ready to get married. So, but Usanatu, after Usanatu has given back out of wedlock, people talked to the mother to accept her. All she wanted all of them both of them to get married, because she does repeat what Usai has done. So that was not an easy one. I respected the agreement. It's a gentleman's agreement. We did not sign any paper, but I know if I would have crossed the line, she would remind me of what she told me at the inception. So I never interfered. I was always begging them that whatever decision or activity they're embarking on that has to do with the traveling, I must be informed beforehand, because I have to film it. We filmed hundreds of hours of footage. Yes. hundreds of hours. Imagine from 2019, 2020, 2021, we are still filming. It was not an easy one. So because the first one she went, came, I was filming till she went to prison, returned. I continued filming up till 2021 when she was they were preparing to leave Sierra Leone just after they lifted the ban at the border. They went through Sierra Leone to Guinea to Senegal, and finally they are presently in Turkey. They are stranded right now in Turkey as we speak. Every other day when we talk, they say that if she is able to get some amount of money that will hand her flight tickets, she will come back home. Because the job that they are doing, that's what she said. She said she will come back to Sierra Leone because the jobs in Istanbul, the money they pay is $250, $300 a month. She said what they told them life is in Istanbul is different from what they are experiencing right now. So her sister is telling her that their target is to go further. They want to go further. They want to cross over to Greece and go further. They don't want. Sometimes they will tell me that they want to come. Sometimes they are not stable right now. But yes, that is why I never interfered. That is why I never stopped them.
Okay, so we'll talk a lot on that later. But Bami, are you okay now? Is the sound and picture okay for you?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, I've been on and off. It's a little bit.
It's perfect. It's perfect now. So, Generation Africa. When you heard about the idea of the movement, what did you feel like? Were you excited? Were you appreciative of the idea?
Yeah. Well, for my film, I grew up in the fishing community. You know, I grew up in Cockle Bay in the west end of Freetown, and fishing has been a big part of me growing up. So it's one of those stories that I've always wanted to tell as a documentary filmmaker. Because when I left, you know, fishing and started doing my media stuff, going back and visiting my friends and family, just looking at the situation, the present situation that they are in. And I mean families that used to flourish, you know, because there was catch before now. And what's kind of the inspiration behind my film? So I started filming and I had like an assembly, like a short, like a story idea, an assembly of what I wanted to tell when I approached when the Generation Africa call came up. So when I approached them with my, my assistant director called Kaba, when we approached them, they were, quite interested in the story because the story resonated with the themes of Generation Africa, and then that was how we got started. So we were flowing into Ghana, to meet other, over 20 other filmmakers from around Africa. And then we had a workshop, and then, and they funded production. So we went into production, and then, and into post-production. And now I have a 49 minutes edit that I've been around the world with. So I was in ZIF, the Zanzibar International Film Festival. The film has been into the Global Head Film Festival in London and in Australia. And as I speak, we're presently embarking on, we're starting to do what I call impact plan, impact strategy. So we're starting community screenings to ignite discussions around the themes that the film raised, issues around livelihoods, fish scarcity, illegal fishing, food security, migration, and a lot more. So yes, Generation Africa have been very, very supportive at every level of of this production, and even starting to support the impact strategy and the impact plan. In fact, a few weeks ago they had a workshop for impact facilitators to train impact facilitators. So when we get into these communities, they know how to work with the audience, they know how to work with the community, they know how to deliver on the impact plan really. So yeah. That is where we are.
the new boats? Why
The new
that
boat.
name?
Well, the new boats, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to. I mean, if you watch the entire film, it means a lot to the community also, because it looks at the influx. On one side of it, it looks at the influx of industrial boats and semi-industrial fishing boats in Sierra Leone that are actually causing problems for the local fishermen, our local fishers, and also it looks at a new boat that was built during the production of this film, that actually a lot was spent on that boat, but at the end of the day, because of the scarcity of fish, this boat ended up not making any money. And as I speak, the boat was last destroyed by heavy winds. I think it was last month. So the new boats means a lot to me. It means a lot. The theme itself means a lot. It means foreign fishing vessels in our waters, exploiting our waters, but also means that as a local fisherman, you construct a new boat, you hardly make a living out of it because of the scarcity of fish. That is how bad it is. So yeah, so the new boat means a lot for myself, and I used to be a fisherman, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah.
Come from a fishing community, and as a Sierra Leonean, I wasn't shocked, but it was really interesting for me to see how fishing is done. We see them coming out from the sea, but we never really know how they catch the fish. We don't see how they haul the fishes into the boat. So it was really a learning experience for me, as much as it was a beautiful thing. Did you
Thank
feel
you.
that way filming? It's like, this is my story, and now I'm able to transform it into something that other people will appreciate. What did you feel?
Well, I feel relieved because I filmed over 300 hours worth of material. I'm just following the daily life of these fishermen in Tombo, like many other fishing communities or seaside communities around Sierra Leone. I mean, most of our protein, the protein that we eat in Sierra Leone, over 80% of the protein that we eat in Sierra Leone is fish, and most of it comes from most of the so-called African catch comes from these local fishing communities, and Tombo is responsible for a large percentage of the local fish that we eat, not only in Freetown but also in the provinces. So telling this story for me highlights the significance why we should protect our marine resources, why our laws should be effective, why surveillance efforts should be effective to protect what we have, because fish is all we have. And I don't know if you know this, Sarah, but our fish was banned from the international market, from the European market over 15 years ago. So which means we cannot sell our fish to the international market, but we do have companies and boats coming into our waters and fishing and catching our fish basically and selling it to the international market, especially the European market, as fish from Ghana or fish from Ivory Coast, and undercutting our economy in many ways. And also just the rampant illegal fishing, and especially in our protected areas, is causing serious social issues. For instance, if you go to Tombo now, Sarah, you go to Tombo now, you'll find out that a lot of the young people wants to leave, wants to migrate to other countries because fishing is no longer lucrative for them. They no longer make a living, because the fish is scarce. So as a result, you have kids working on the boats. You have women who have been left behind by their husbands who live for other countries like Guinea or other countries wherein, seeking for greener pastures, leaving these kids behind, prone to exploitation and many other adverse effects. So yes, for me, the new boat, this film tells a powerful story of my life, but like the lives of many other fishing families and fishermen around Sierra Leone. And as I always say, Sierra Leone is what I have, is what we all have. So as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I can't sit by and watch some of these issues and don't make a film about, don't tell these stories, because I believe through our lens as local filmmaker, we're able to tell authentic stories. To our eyes, we're able to tell a story that really comes from our heart, because over the years we've been, as filmmakers, we've been complaining generally in Africa that the narrative about Africa, our stories have been told by other people, So for me, I think it's about time that we start telling our own stories for ourselves, and I think that is the backbone, that is the very foundation for Generation African films.
One thing that resonated throughout the new boat is connected livelihoods. Connected livelihoods as the young men or older people going out to catch the fish, coming out, the women, smoking the fish or selling them raw. Can you take us a little bit through that process? How the different livelihoods are connected. At the end of the day, it's a whole family, but finding monies in different ways.
So one of the local boats, as I mentioned earlier, Tombo has over 600 boats, boat transport and boats and fishing boats. And just one of these boats, the manpower that is required to pull the nets is 20 to 25. Manpower that is required to manually pull the nets. So in the morning, you have the guys, they go on this boat, they look for the requisite manpower to go, and they go and fish. And when they fish, they are being paid not in cash, but they've been paid with fish. So they come to shores, to Tombo, for instance, and then they kind of sell the fish. And the economy is kind of very organized because you have the guys who go out and fish, and you actually have the women who buys this fish, who are responsible for the day-to-day selling of this fish, and obviously preserving this fish, whether it's through ice or whether it's through smoking. And these women, you have these women who also, these fishmongers, who also sell on the local markets. But if you go to Tombo, you have them also loading this fish onto big trucks to go on to places like Makeni or Bo or Kenema. So the economy there is, I would say that economy there is actually controlled by women, who plays a very important role to ensure that the men get their money and they're able to buy their gas, they're able to mend their nets, they're able to repair their boats. So it's pretty much like a straightforward process, even though it is fascinating just being on the boats with the fishermen, just seeing the amount of labor that is required to just pull that net and make a catch. And sometimes we're there like for many hours, they'll spend many hours without catching anything. So, and they have to put the net back and do it again and again. At least, at the end of the day, sometimes like one day I was there with Sullay, and they were only able to catch, so they were only able to make like 300,000, which was not even enough for to buy gas for the boats, to go out at sea. And on a better day, you have mixed catch. You have in our local language we call them we call it bonga. You have shinos. You have kini. You have teni. Sometimes you have what is called pente. Sometimes you have guanguan and catfish and many more. But as I said earlier, it is getting scarce by the day, and it is very worrying. And I think Sierra Leoneans should be very concerned.
To bigger boats from foreigners, say the Asians, coming to illegally fish at Tombo and other ports. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, since over the last 20 years or more, since even before we were banned from the European markets, from selling fish in the European markets, we've had influx of industrial boats in Sierra Leone, and unregulated, in fact. And we've had influx of semi-industrial boats also. So there is what is called chigie-chorga. The local people call them chigie-chorgas, and these chigie-chorgas are semi-industrial boats who they look small. They look like the average local boat, but they're not. They have bigger engines and bigger nets. Sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry, Sarah, your audio is muted. I didn't hear you. I didn't get you actually.
Okay, I asked that if the chigie-chorgas, is it the boats or the people?
It's the boats. It's the boats. It's the boats.
Okay.
So the boats, they are called semi-industrial boats, but the local people call them chigie-chorgas because they are very common. And they've reduced now a little bit, But now, if you go to Tombo and ask anyone about the chigie-chorgas, this semi-industrial boat, they don't have a good name with the local communities, because these are owned and operated by foreign fishing companies that came into these communities with the notion of buying fish from the locals, but they ended up bringing up these boats who are now competing in the same waters that the local fishermen are supposed to fish. And especially they don't do the activities at daytime. They do it at night, and they go into the areas where the local fishermen have been allowed to fish, and they fish there, causing serious problems for this local boat that we have. So you go to Tombo, like many other fishing communities. I've seen them around, and they will tell you stories about these chigie-chorgas, and obviously our fishing, the semi-industrial boat and these industrial boats are predominantly dominated by Chinese, Koreans, and I think some Russian. Came across one or two Russia kind of agents that were working with some Russian boats. They told us, but it's predominantly Chinese and Korean boats that owns these chigie-chorgas and the industrial boats. Yeah.
Background, but if I will be focusing on him next a little bit. But until we know that, Bami, setting out to do this movie, the intentions you had, like this is what I want to portray. Are you satisfied that you achieved that?
Yeah, but as a filmmaker, I am very pleased with what I have now in terms of the story, because it's not only the story that I want to tell, but it's the story that the people of Tombo wants to tell. Like many other fishing communities, the women of Tombo that I worked with, the former national master fisherman per seaport, Sullay or Woodie from the National Artisanal Fishermen Consortium, or even the fishmongers that I worked with. This is the story that they want to tell. They've seen the story and they are pleased, and that makes me happy. It means that it is a story that resonates with everyone, not only because I go into this community as a filmmaker, and wanting to tell the stories. But at the end of the day, also, the saying of the characters themselves is very important. And I think it resonates with me, and it resonates with the characters and many other people that have seen the film around the world in different festivals. For instance, when I went to Zanzibar for ZIF, the Zanzibar International Film Festival, the film was taken into fishing communities around Zanzibar, like Marumbi, Paja, Pemba communities that also watch this film, and they can, they can relate beyond Sierra Leone. They can relate to some of the issues raised in the film. So, and as I said, we're going to embark on community screenings also. And we're going to embark on community screenings across 20 communities in Sierra Leone, just starting the discussions around these issues, including climate change also, that are climate change adding extra burden on the shoulders of fishermen. Yes, so I am very pleased with what I have.
Plans to screen it at locations, for example, where ordinary Sierra Leoneans can go and view it for free?
Yeah, well, we're going to have a national premiere in Freetown here. But apart from the national premiere also in Freetown here, we're going to have different screenings around fishing communities and in the provinces, just to make sure the film gets into communities and people beyond Freetown get to see the film and engage in meaningful discussions around the themes that the film raises. Yes, we're going to have a few screenings around Freetown and the Western Urban, but we're also going to go into places like Plantain Island, Kagboro axis like Shinge and Bones and McKinney and Bo, and just to get the film out as much as we can, really, because we believe that's the way we can actually affect change, by informing the people, getting the people to understand and engage in these meaningful discussions around livelihoods, food security, fish scarcity, and migration, climate change, and many other issues raised by the film.
And the dates for the fishing communities, are they set?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
The dates for the screening at the fishing communities, different fishing communities, are those dates set already?
Well, now we are basically working on the schedule, the shooting, the screening schedule, but we're also working on a screening booklet that should go with the screening. So we're designing a screening booklet with a lot of information that for any screening that we do, we have a booklet that goes with it. So you can take that home and share the word or share the message and get other people interested and involved really in the ongoing discussions. So yes, we are basically rounding up on the screening booklet and then finalizing on the screening schedule, and then we will share that obviously to people, and then people can catch up on screenings in different locations.
Sassy, if you're on, please join us so I can revert to you again. But Bami, did you show this film to the people of Tombo community yet?
Yes, I have screened the film for a cross section of the people of Tombo, especially predominantly the main characters in the film. We've seen the film as I mentioned earlier, and then on our schedule, our first massive screening is actually in Tombo also. So we're taking it back into Tombo, even though we have characters and a few key stakeholders have seen the film, but then we're taking it down to the community, down to Tombo. So we're screening it in we're taking it back to Tombo for the second time, I would say. Sorry, I didn't get that.
What were the reactions of the people who took a part in the film, seeing themselves on screen? What was their reaction?
Well, for most of them, that was the first time to be on in fact, to be in front of the camera and to be in a documentary film, and it's mixed reactions, I would say. Some of them, it was quite. Sometimes it was quite a good laugh, but also I would say during the course of the filming, we filmed a lady called Tayayo, who was one of my characters, but passed away during the filming. So when the images of Tayayo shows up, it's a different reaction. It changes the mood in the room and all that. But it's been positive. The feedback has been great so far, and it's been very positive so far. And I think the characters are very happy with what they've seen so far of the film. And that's for me, that is a great start.
So, Bami, let me hold you there. Sassy, let's switch over if you're on. Obviously, if you're watching and you have questions regarding this movie, or the filmmaking generation Africa, whatever question you have, you can type them below my own live stream or the live stream of AfriDoc, and we will read them out to you. Even if it's comments, you can also drop them in, and I will read them out here. I'm trying to see if Sassy can join us again so we can move over to him. Sassy, if you're here, please join us. But I will not want to wait. I not talk anything while we're waiting for Sassy. As soon as I see he's on screen, we'll go over to him. Bami, what next for you?
What next for me? I mean, it's the community screenings, and also I'll be editing some snippets, some 3 minutes snippet of the 300 hours footage that I have to share on social media. But also I have been also working on a new project that is coming on. It's called Green Hypocrisy, and it has to do with climate change and all the signings and the commitments and versus the realities on the ground with deforestation, not only with the trees, our rosewood trees, but also with the mangrove. So it's called Green Hypocrisy, and I am also looking into. I've filmed quite a lot of it also, so that is in the pipeline. And also there's another project that I'm involved in called Amant Mubek. Amant Mubek means water is coming.
Back, I can't see him, but I know he's joined us. Sassy, can you get me? Sassy, can you get me? Okay, I seem to be having issues with Sassy coming on camera, and we were doing so good before, but it's okay. You're focusing now a little bit on climate change, but it's also a challenge when it comes to this story that you just concluded, which is the new boats, because we are now talking about scarce fishes, we're talking about they've got livelihood. So is that a particular trend that you? Okay, I see Ceci is back now. Hi, Ceci.
Hello, Sarah. Sorry, I was getting you, but you can't hear me at that time.
The movie, like we already talked about, and the sister is out there and they're saying, "Oh, I want to move on," or "I'll return to Sierra Leone." But there is a feeling of hope all through the movies. These people, these ladies believe that we can make it. Like one of them believe I can make it out of Sierra Leone, the other believe that I can do it here and all that. The feeling of hope. Can you take us through that particular thing?
Yes, well, the movie Sisterhood, the story is very, very complicated. You have to be a vigilant and creative director for you to resonate with the story. Initially, it was Asanatu, the one without hijab. She was the one that was telling us that she's not ready to go out of Sierra Leone. She believes that she can make it in Sierra Leone. Okay, now that they have left Sierra Leone, both of them, they are now in Istanbul. And Asanatu had a job that they were paying her $500. But because of the hiccup attacked her at work, they sacked her. She was sacked. And right now she is at home with no job. And she's the one now motivating Usai for them to go further, not to come to Sierra Leone. Usai now had discovered another talent about herself, that she can do that the netting that they call kuse in our local language. She can do that. And now the last time I even filmed the conversation between she and I, that before now she thought she cannot express herself amongst people and people listen to her and applaud her that you're saying something sensible. Only now that she and her sister, they have stayed together, because they were not staying together since back. When they get back to them, the mother took Usana to the one with the hijab and gave her to her aunt, her sister, her mom's sister, that she grew up, and then Usana to stay with the mother. It's only during the course of this documentary they were able to stay together. So the hope here is Usana to believe that if she comes back home and then she will have some money to develop her business, she will be able to make it in Sierra Leone and travel wherever she wants to travel, instead of without facing the challenges they are facing now. And Usana to now believes that she does not want to come home. People start looking at her and say, why did you even travel? Those of us that did not travel, we are even better than you. So Asanat is not ready to come into that story. And Usai does not care. She said she wants to come, prepare, and if she sees reason to go back, she will go. But in terms of convincing spirits, Asanat is good at convincing Usai to do what she wants. While Usai, she just believes in action. So the hope there is they have somewhere to sleep, they can eat, and they are alive. Every other day has its own plan, because I'm talking with them every now and then. So that's the hope they're sharing with me. And then I just believe that one day one of them will be able to win. And then it either be Asanatu for them to cross over to Greece and go further, or Usai will come to Asanatu, let's come back home for a while and then prepare to go again.
Are you in touch with the family?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, are you in touch with the family, as in the mom and the father of the twins? Okay, let me with the mother and the father of the Sanatu and Sanatu. Are you in touch with the family of the two sisters? You're still not getting me, Safi?
I can't hear you.
Okay, can you get me now? Can you get me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, are you in touch with the parents of the two sisters?
Yes, yes. In fact, the mother was sick last week, and well, I'm a family friend now to the family. So the mother took me now as her son, and the father also sees me as his son. So most often I check on them, especially when their children are not here. But the sad story is that they have separated. They have separated about to divorce. And yes, I have talked to the father, I talked to the mother, but yeah, the mother is now staying where the twins were staying up soon, whilst the father is still staying down Krube. So yeah, of course, planning after I came when the movie was screened in Zanzibar International Film Festival. Before I went there, I visited the mother and the father. I told them I was going to travel, and when we turned back, and I tried to see them, but I was in a rush to go to Cameroon, where the movie was also nominated, Ekran Noir Film Festival. I went to Cameroon, and when I came from Cameroon, I came in rush again to go to Ghana to go submit for the movie, because the movie has been nominated for ITFA, International Film Festival. I had to rush to Ghana, so VSF embassy, I submitted, and then I came to Sierra Leone. When I visited now, I met the mother telling me that no one wants to stay with that man anymore, and they have separated. The mother is staying up Freetown, the father is staying down there. You know, they are fathers. They are now fathers and mothers. So we don't have to intrude too much. But I've tried to talk to the mother. I tried to talk to the father. The father is saying that he does not want her in the same. So I'm checking on them every now and then. You might have seen this woman, but maybe you don't know she is the one. Kissy House by Big Waterloo Street. She's the woman that sells fish bond there in daily basis. Maybe as we speak now, she's there. Maybe as we speak, she's there. She's always sits by the door where people, the door people used to enter. So in daily basis, I either call her on the phone or I try to see her, because I'm the child now here for her. So I have to check on her. The last time she was not very right, I had to go there and try to give her some money to go to the hospital.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the screening plans, the plans to screen Sisterhood? Do you have any?
Yeah, the only screenings I can talk about for now is the Zanzibar International Film Festival and the Ekran Noir in Cameroon, wherein people were shocked to see what these girls went through, especially Usenatu, who has gone through a lot out in the outside world and still pushing to go again. In fact, after doing the movie, after screening the movie, most of the people will say if Usenatu is really, if she's really mindful of what she's doing, or does she know what she's doing? Is she insane? Going all through all those, and then you still want to go, and then in fact, you are not around. You have moved it going. I said, as you have seen for yourself, that woman said she needs to continue going. There's nothing back home. She needs to go and make her life there, or make money and come back home. So people ask a lot of questions. They raise questions like why parents are not allowing their female children to make decisions on their own. These two people are not underage anymore. Let them make decisions on their own. And then why must they reject her because she got pregnant of wedlock. I said, well, that's the tradition. And then you go to, they raise an issue of female genital. They are not happy, and they will never forgive her. And then nobody will clear such thing with their own daughters. All those things, people ask questions around them, talk about the climate change, the flooding that they face every year, poverty, which is the key. They're running away from poverty to go seek for greener pastures and come home to live a better life. These twins, they are four. So they are playing a brother who has abandoned the family because of condition of the family. And then they have a younger brother who does not stay home. He's like drug addiction. He's going around these broken metals to sell and survive. You know, like after a month or two, he will come home. But the brother, he just abandoned the family because the father is poor, the mother is poor. So which is why the two sisters have taken it up as a responsibility on themselves that we need to change the state of this family. So that's why you see them going thus far.
Yeah, what was really I couldn't resolve personally was the fact that they are really poor, but then they went around foraging to save money to fund the trip that they go to. And one of them repeatedly has gone to 3 trips. And that amount of money could have been put somewhere else. So like foreigners asked you, is there ever a time when you ask one of the twins, like, why are you spending so much to go with this money when you could invest it? Did you at any point in time ask that question?
Many people ask that question. They ask the question in they ask the question. They are not the ones.
Did you ask one of the twins that question? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
did you ask one of the twins that question?
I did ask during the film. I did ask this question, but I saw it visibly when they discussed also with the smugglers that they are not the ones spending the money. They go on a deal that the smugglers contact their agents out there. They are the one that will spend money to buy flight tickets. They are the one that will spend it to get a visa. The agreement is when you travel and go there, for you. When you're working, they'll deduct the money. They just give you money that will suffice for you to survive, to get food or whatever. But they will not give, let me say 70 or 80% of the salary you will get. They will take it to refund the money they spent for you for visa and tickets. After which, you continue now making money for yourself. Even if you get the first job and the first job ends, and then the second one did not cover that money, each job you get, they'll go after you until you finish paying for the ticket and the visa. So they are not the one actually spending the money. It's just what is important is for you to get the type of agent that will trust you, that when you go there, you will not change. You will not be ungrateful. So Usaina has been going and coming, and so she's used to these smugglers now. So they trust her. That's why they were able to get to her sister. Then they travel together. Because there is one thing that is in the movie, which is a superstitious belief that someone told Asanatu she's the one responsible for bringing her sister always because they are twins. That's why she took the decision. Okay, this time around we'll go together. Let me see if I'm the one responsible, then let's go together.
Okay, so finally, what next when it comes to this film and your next project?
Well, what next when it comes to this film? We are set now to do a mobile screening across Sierra Leone. We want to screen it in schools, in communities, in universities. Let's discuss the issues raised on the film, and also where they recruit these young people to embark on human trafficking, because this is human trafficking. So we want to screen this movie in different communities across the country and different universities, so young people will take the message across. So when once they suspect their family members involving into such activities, they will be able to be vigilant enough using good communication skills to convince them and remind them of the movie they have watched and so many challenges that these travelers are facing. So we want to embark on the impact of impact screening of the documentary. And then what next as a filmmaker? I have two stories set, of which I've started filming one. The one is about a young man that's using coconut shell to, coconut shell. He's using coconut shell to produce charcoal, and that to discourage these people in the interior that are cutting trees to produce charcoal, which is causing lots and lots of flooding in our cities across the country. So the young man believes that if the community, his community people accept his products, at the end of the day, it will spill over, and he will meet these people that are cutting trees and teach them how to produce. And so we will, in his own way, and other young people, they will contribute to mitigate the challenges around flooding. And then the other one is sand mining. We have young people that are using these local boats during the night. They leave the shores of Freetown around 7, 8 in the evening and go at the middle of the sea to go mine sand and carry the sand to that wooden boat. So, and by, let's say, by 4, 5 in the morning, they come to shore and offload the sand and sell it to construction companies that are constructing this across the country. And so they don't look at the risk involved, and also what that sand mining is causing different areas of the country, which is why I have decided to tell the story, inform the nation that this is what is going on. Let us just don't focus on the effects. Let's also look at the cause. What is causing this? If you see, water is terrorizing. The water from the ocean is terrorizing different places or even eating our beautiful islands. There are causes to that. So I want to reveal that so people see. Because when I asked the guys why are they doing sand mining, they said they're doing it because they don't have a job. They don't have anywhere to survive. That's why they are doing it. So that is what next as a filmmaker. Of course, my show is coming up. My show, reality TV shows, Hello Next Movie Star. I'm the creative director and CEO. So my show is coming up soon as a film. So what next for Ceci? That's it.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ceci Kamara, the filmmaker of Sisterhood, which is a civilian film that talks about illegal traveling, or and also talk about the poverty theme, talks about what people are going through just to get greener pastures. Basically, that's what the story comes down to. And we do hope, we pray that the sisters get the greener pastures that they're seeking right now. Thank you very much, Ceci. Okay, Bami, you're now with us. Also, Bami, finally, what would you like for people watching right now to take away from the movie and from yourself?
I will just call on policymakers and on behalf of myself and the community and the fishing community to pay attention what is happening in our waters, in our seas. in terms of regulation and surveillance, because it's critical that we pay attention, because food security is a big issue, and fish plays a very important role towards that agenda of food security. And if we're not able to protect our waters, to avert illegal fishing, we will have ourselves, to blame, in the near future, as we will start to import fish in Sierra Leone. So I want people to understand that illegal fishing and unregulated fishing is a big problem in Sierra Leone, and our waters are kind of porous. Our waters are like open for all, really, with little or no surveillance, really. So people should, policymakers, the government, should pay attention to what is happening.
I would like to ask if there are questions now. Maybe they can be displayed on the screen. But if there are no questions, I think this is how we will end the live for today. I'm going to give like 30 seconds to see if any questions will be displayed on the screen by the other Sarah Summers. And if there are no questions, then this is how we'll end the live for today. Thank you very much. If you've been watching, you can share this live. These movies, like they already said, will be screened all over Sierra Leone at the fishing communities when it comes to the new boats movies, and the other locations for Sisterhood will be disclosed as and when they get the information settled on. And yes, if you contact me, I will also assist to share this information so you can know where to go to get the movies or to watch the movies in full. I've watched the movies, thankfully. I add the links, so maybe we could share the links so you can go and watch them as well. But whatever information you need to know, we'll definitely communicate them to you as and when I receive them. Thank you very much for watching. This is how I say bye-bye for today.
I don't know. Your man never tell me if I make come first or I make come second. So I know, you need to be big, or it's me to take be small. But people they always tell we see a mature passer. What in all in the think about, what in my sister in the think about in your life is all about traveling. The first time for travel na Kuwait, 2014. Travel go back, it come back. Travel go back for like 4 months, it come back. As the full one, we born on the street, to better picking again for them. So now, take the picking in my hand and try for help me. So okay, it's what people like for chocolate and talk. This is my young and picking. When I get the belly, like ashamed and me my family they don't know me for that kind of life there, so how I for call and tell them say that this don't happen to me. So I know what I call. They really they wonder me sometimes a lot, especially about me picking. And all them picking tell me say I want this, I don't get some for here. So now that's not the reason why make I say make her go. Sometimes within other people in the experience, but they will not go for the experience and things in there. So my decision, the final, we they go together, inshallah. Why you not alone?
Awalla una gay man, la una married, la una like me safe sit down there first. Before ever una they go any side. Remember no more the way this way and they call me, they cry, they suffer, they this, they that, ashamed. Then they take it, come on me heart. Then take it, they make, because if other person don't do it, if no fit like you don't do it.
What na do, na go, na support, and bless me, and we go before. I don't say the outside work is not easy, but we not get option now.
Tombo na the hub of the fishing, we na the largest fishing community in Sierra Leone.
Well, before this time, the boat that we've been there, now be indigenous, then boot them or selling and indigenous them. But unfortunately, investors that will been coming in the name of coming to invest in the fishing sector. So economically, people, instead of them growing, then they retrogress every blessed day. When fishermen go get a complaint, then come, they tell them, say, these are the complaints we get. Those complaints, they never take them serious. So I make us as an organization take up upon ourselves for speaking. Now let me get a community surveillance booth. Now they pack all their net castle, right there they come out. Then go ransack the sea all net.
Kalimaki, me tata me born fisherman. Kalimaki do kaska me komi dey from yimi bitstone into chimpagi, but because to 8 years, they may survive. And I didn't sing out. I can sing as the old fisherman is glad for oak. Kapag di ba nga day? Ayaw ko na talk. I don't use to. I don't use to.